I'm Shark Whitebeard here at Shark's Tavern, making another video here. The helmet I'm wearing right now is called a Morion helmet. I believe that's the correct pronunciation. Very widely used back in the pirate era. Mostly people thought it was a Spanish helmet. The Spanish wore these. The Spanish did wear these quite a bit. What I've read and my research says that the French used them also, the English used them, that everybody pretty much, all the powers use these helmets. They're very popular. They fit pretty good. They give you pretty good protection, and they were a very well-liked helmet and popular at the time. So everybody used them, not just the Spanish. The Spanish did use them quite a bit though. What I'm kind of talking to you here today about is the Rapier. And this is a classic Rapier right here. It's a very long, slender blade. It's about a 39-inch blade. This guy here goes for about 400 bucks if you're to go buy one right now. It's an actual sword. It can hold an edge. It has flex in it and stuff, just like the old ones. This was a gift to me, given to me by Captain Fox. It has all the weight in the back. It's a very heavy sword. It's the weights in the back here to use the power from the back. For the point for thrusting. Not really used for slashing, but it had an edge. They used to have an edge on them, so they could slash with them somewhat. But it was mostly for thrusting was the whole concept. And a rapier, it had the cage to protect your hand, so your adversary couldn't cut your hand, and you had a grip that you could hold it right here with your finger grip and stuff. So the rapier was basically a civilian weapon. And they're used a lot extensively in dueling, but they carried them in battles in wartime just as much. What I read. The whole concept is you're using your wrist, and with your wrist you can cover like 4 feet just moving your wrist. And as you're doing that, when you learn the skill, the blade's moving. The end of the point is moving very quick, where the back of it you're barely moving your wrist. And the whole concept was thrusting, and if you got about 3 inches of penetration with the tip, you could pierce vital organs in your adversary and cause death. So that's all it took, was you're moving your wrist around, and then you're thrusting, and all you needed was 3 inches of penetration to end the fight. One thing they used to use also, and these were like for civilian use, they're very heavy like I said, so you usually had a baldric like this one, this leather baldric, and you carry it on your side, and this distributed the weight pretty good if it's pretty well balanced, a good baldric. I've carried metal weapons that were heavy. I carried them at Red Fairs before, and what you end up doing is you end up, like when you're walking through crowds and stuff, you end up keeping your hand on the sword because you're trying to steer the point. You could, when you turn around, you could snag somebody, poke somebody with it. So you end up standing a lot with your sword like this, and so you end up kind of almost like posing everywhere you stand. So that's why they were like that, because you're controlling the blade. You would, what they would do, they'd carry these for civilian use, so they could become cumbersome if you carried something bigger. So one of the things they used to carry was a buckler. It was a little small metal shield to use in your left hand as a protection in conjunction with the rapier. So these are small and light, and you can carry them on your belt. So if you needed to, you can pull this out. And what they used them a lot for, the style was they would use the buckler to protect their arm when they thrust. So you thrust, and then you protect your arm because your adversary could try to reach on the arm, take out your sword arm if they could. They use them like that, but you could use them any which way. You could actually parry their weapon and then hit them with this, or whatever, or try to parry their weapon and stab them in conjunction. There was books, and trainers would train you how to use a little small buckler and a rapier in battle to defend yourself. Of course, one of the popular things they always used was a dagger. You had a secondary dagger you carry on you and pull that out in your left hand if this was in your right hand. And this is a sword-hilted dagger. A little heavier, built more kind of from the medieval Renaissance era when you're looking at fighting people with armor. But it could be used anytime by anybody, still a popular dagger to be used. And they could, same thing, use it in conjunction together as a secondary weapon. The rapier and the dagger in conjunction with each other. And of course, you had, if you're carrying a firearm, this is a light dragoon Elliott pistol, single shot, smooth bore, 62 caliber, and you could shoot that, and like I said, you could turn it around and use it as a weapon also once you fired it off if you're fighting multiple adversaries. There was, and this was mostly civilian carrier, walking around like this every day. If you were going into battle, you'd be carrying something bigger, heavier. Then these is like a side, considered a sidearm, not a primary weapon, and a dagger is a secondary weapon. So that's pretty much the Rapier. And please subscribe, share, like, give us a thumbs up, or post a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you very much.